Good afternoon, and welcome everyone to the first round of the road to the FIA Motorsport Games 2024 here for the Lithuanian drivers. We're here at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben for the race of Germany here at the first round of the series. This is one beautiful, beautiful racetrack and a difficult one for the drivers as well. On your screens right now, Sector 1 of the track, a very, very technical part of the circuit, especially with that difficult braking down into Turn 1. Sector 2, and that super famous triple left, and that very, very difficult chicane. Sector 3 on your screens right now, that's a bit more of a fast part of the circuit that you're going to see the drivers come through. On your screens, the chicane shots taken from a little bit earlier on in the week around here at Oschersleben. You'll see in a few moments' time that the track conditions at the moment are quite slippery. The new rain update on iRacing added rain to these F4 cars as well. Here you can see that famous chicane. The drivers will be trying to take as much curb as possible, but the wet weather will be sure to present a very, very difficult challenge. And into live pictures we come. This is what the track looks like at the moment here at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. Very, very difficult. The sun's come out, at least for the time being, and on your screens right now, this is Povilas Duchovskis. I believe he's going to be starting one of his qualifying laps. The lap time not too long at this place, but with the rain coming in, lap time's dropping by about 20 seconds. Haroldas Jotautas goes to provisional pole with a 1 minute 40.31331. Lap times are sure to change, but obviously with the track being wet and some rain coming down still intermittently, we'll definitely see many, many changes in terms of lap time. 23 car on your screens at the moment. Drivers getting their first laps in. With the rain, obviously, comes the difficulty that you do still have to make those laps count, and you still have to stay within track limits. And, well, for some drivers, that might sometimes be a bit of a challenge as they run around the race circuit here at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. At the moment, Jotautas, Laurinas, and Kundelis is your top three. Laurinas Vaitakunas in fourth position. We'll have qualifying right now. About 15 minutes is the whole qualifying session, but 10 minutes to go in this one. And then the drivers will head on to Semifinal 1, Semifinal 2, and the final to decide the winners for tonight. 3 rounds of the series will take us to Zandvoort, will take us to Aragon for the final event, and, well, the winner of the championship gets a ticket to represent Lithuania in the Motorsport Games at Valencia later on this year in the iRacing category. Qualifying session going ahead. Arturas Kundelis makes it to second place, at least provisionally, in the qualifying session. Haroldas Jotautas did set a 39.990 to go even quicker. He's 6/10 up on the current, well, he's 6/10 up on the driver in second place. On the predicted times, we see Justas Dechokas, at least that's what my timing screen says. He's going very, very quickly at the moment. This is Domas Santanas Regis, and he sets a 41.7. And that's about 1.7 seconds off pole position. Regular Sidabras goes purple in Sector 1. This is going wide by Domas Santanas. This is Regular Sidabras, 35.8 in the Sector 1. That was purple in that sector. Haraldas Jotudas improving as well, I believe, at the top of the field. 35.4 green in Sector 2, and big slide, but that's again quickest by Haraldas Jotudas. Justas Stachokas up into second position, 1 minute 40.472. Arturas Cornelis improves 40.351, so getting closer to that pole time that was set by Haraldas Jotudas. He improved by just a tiny sliver of time. Regular Sidabras coming out of the final turn. Let's see if he can improve. Well, if he can set a time, 41.0, I'm sorry, 41.016. No, that wasn't a 41.016. Maybe it was, but lap time invalidated for him. Davidas Lorinonas goes to second place, 1 minute 40.285. 3/10 off pole sitter, but Haraldas Jotudas is still very comfortable in that pole position. Justinas Bumbulis all the way down in 9th place. He's one of the faster drivers, at least previously in the OBS series that we've seen, but all the way down in 9th at the moment still. About 7 minutes of this qualifying session to go. Laurinas Vitaguna sitting in 5th. And coming through that super difficult triple left. We talked to him before the race, and he said that was a real difficult point of the circuit. That's where a lot of drivers are expected to struggle tonight. Haraldas Jotudas doesn't look like he's improving. Down in 23rd is Grantas Karatskas. He's one of the drivers jumping from different platforms here on to iRacing. We'll see how he goes along. Leonidas Vitokunas coming through that chicane. Staying away from the big puddles on the insides. Next to the curbs, a lot of puddles. Some puddles on the outside there as well, coming in to the final two turns. Big wiggle coming out of the second to last corner into the final corner. Very difficult in the wet. Very difficult to find your line, and comes now out of the final turn and runs down onto the start-finish line. 40.2. And goes second. Yep, he does go second. Just 0.2 of a second off provisional pole at the moment. Edna Žadeikis looks to be on a quick lap as well. Coming down onto the line, 40.015, and he's going to be right behind the current pole sitter, just 26 thousandths of a second. Big slide into turn 1. It's a very difficult braking zone. Obviously, you're trying to stay away from that from the slippery part of the track, and he's going to reset and go again one more time. There's still a little bit of time remaining. Unless Žadeikis down onto pit road, he's not going to continue. Haraldas Jotudas still out on track. I don't believe this will be an improvement this time around. Nojo Sabas up to pole position. 39.903. Came out of nowhere. We didn't see him improve, but wow, up to pole position. Provisional pole, at least for the time being. Haraldas Jotudas down to the line. He does improve. 39.4. Wow, it didn't look purple on my timing screen, but obviously it was half a second into provisional pole. So track improving, clearly improving. Drivers obviously gaining confidence. Justas Stachokas, 39.9. Now we have 3 drivers into the 39s, when it looked like only Haraldas Jotudas could make it, at least in the beginning of the session. So Nojo Sabas in second position at the moment. He had a fantastic lap there. Don't see many more improvements. Another driver that's surprisingly far down the field is Pavlas Duchovskis, all the way down in 15th place. Again, one of the other drivers that we've seen go fast previously, and just as I say that, up into 8th, 1 minute 40.4 .948. David Lithuanian is on a lap and coming right to the end of it. You can clearly see the track improving because you can see the sector times dropping exponentially. Obviously, we'll have Semifinal 1 and Semifinal 2, Semifinal A and Semifinal B, to be more precise. And pole position goes to Semifinal A, and second place goes to Semifinal B. Was that an improvement? It was an improvement, but not enough to improve positions, I believe, for David Lithuanian. On your screens, the 713 of Mantas Armalis. We've seen him be very fast in the practice sessions. FP1, he was up in second place, right behind Edvin Žadeikis, but that was obviously at the dry start of the session. Arturas Kunelis moves up into 6th place. Domas Santanas Regis up into 11th. Across the line comes Armalis, but yeah, it is an improvement. Up to 8th position he goes. Still 2 minutes to go in this session, and if the track is improving like we thought, there might be some changes. Dalius Dubinskas up into 9th position, 1 minute 40.868. Tadas Lutkus goes up into 20th, a bit further back down the field. Not sure if we have any other improvements. Juozas Kiršys, he's a bit further down, but at least on my timing screen, it does look like he might be improving on this lap, at least in the first parts of that first sector. Rantas Karatskas on circuit as well. Maybe we can have a look at what he's doing. He's going to cross the line now, and I think he's just starting his first run in qualifying. So waited a long time to actually start that first run, but we'll see how he does. Obviously, ACC ace, but we'll see how quickly he can adapt to different driving on iRacing. Driver for Ferrari Esports in Assetto Corsa Competizione. But on iRacing, it's a whole different beast, and obviously a whole different car. Big slide through turn 3 as he completes Sector 1. Not sure if there will be any... Well, there will be an improvement, because he's obviously not been... he's obviously not set a lap yet, but leaving it to the very, very end, maybe. This will be an incredible lap right at the end of the session. I believe a bit more rain coming in. That's why we're not seeing as many drivers improve. So maybe he missed that window of opportunity where you had the track drying up a little bit. This is what happens when rain comes in. The track improves and the track drops down as well as the session goes on. Sector 2, we'll see what he does. Juozas Kiršys up into 11th position. I said he might be improving. Ignas Geršin is up into 15th. So lots of improvement all the way through the field. 35.5 in Sector 2. That's not going to be quick enough, definitely, for pole. I don't think it's going to be enough for top 5 even. So we'll see where Grantas Karatskas can end up. Obviously, races will be a much, much different beast. And actually not enough time as the qualifying session ends. And we start to grid up for Semi-Final 1. Here at Oschersleben. About 2 minutes on the grid. And then the drivers will go out for the first semi-final of the day. Well, the first semi-final of the championship as well. Everybody gridding up at the moment. Semifinal A will consist of, I believe it's 13 drivers, yes. So 13 drivers will be on the grid for Semifinal 1. Haraldas Jototas, your pole sitter, will start up at pole position, with Justas Dačiokas in second. Laurynas Vaitiekūnas starts third. Then Davidas Laurinon is fourth. Fifth for Dalius Dubinskas Briedis. Sixth for Juozas Kiršys. Tomas Antanas Regis in 7th, Ignas Gilčinis in 8th, 9th for Rigardas Sidabras, 10th for Tomas Čibas, 11th for Tadas Lutkus, 12th for Giedrius Juknevičius, and 13th for Grantas Karatska. So not setting a qualifying time, the only driver to not set a qualifying time here. Still no pole sitter on the grid just yet. It's about I think about a minute more that we'll have to wait to get on the grid. With these drivers, it will be a rolling start. And yes, the 56 has gone on the grid. So Semifinal A will begin after this formation lap. The Porsche safety car at the front of the field waiting to lead everybody away. And as the grid rolls on for Semifinal A, a little bit of a delay at the back of the field. That's Grantas Karatkas leaving a bit of a gap to everyone. Weather conditions still looking fine. Well, as fine as they can be. It doesn't look like we're getting that much more rain than we expected. We had that rain subsiding a little bit during the qualifying session, but it's now gone a little bit back up. So medium rain on track at the moment, but the track will obviously change as the drivers push away the rain. Those wet tires on the F4 cars, the grooves in the tires, they push the wetness away from the track. And everybody will be trying to find those slippery, we'll be trying to find where the track is more or less slippery. Here we are in the middle of the circuit at the moment. Everybody's still in 2x2 formation, so not really trying to heat the tires up too much. It's, well, obviously with the wet tires, you don't have to put as much temperature as you would if you were on slicks, but the wet Pirelli rubber working quite well for these drivers. We can see that they are quite confident, especially in the qualifying session. You saw the drivers being able to really slide those cars, so clearly the Pirelli wet tire working well for everyone here. This is that back straight section. This is where Sector 2 ends as well. If you're watching on grip timing as well, you'll be able to see drivers improving where they are on the circuit and where they're gaining and or losing time. Coming through these final sections as the heart rate increases as we'll go green for the first time this season. The road to the FIA Motorsport Games 2024 in Valencia will get underway in just a moment's time as everybody runs to the grid waiting for the green lights to go out. And we're away for the first time this season. Semifinal A is underway, and Harald gets up to a good getaway to keep the lead. Lots of spray behind him. Down into turn one they go. Laurynas Vaitiekūnas on the inside, trying to maybe make a move on Justas Stačiokas. Doesn't happen here. Is more careful and doesn't need to make any rash decisions. Coming out of turn one, looks like everybody's through relatively cleanly. And very impressively cleanly as well. Down into the braking zone, into turn three. A big choke point. Lots of drivers trying to make moves. Obviously, this is the part where you can. Big touch. Well, I'm not sure if it was a big touch. Big touch in the background, definitely. But there was a bit of a slide from Justas Stačiokas. Was Laurynas Vaitiekūnas involved in that? I'm not sure. Grantas Karatkas up into 8th position. I think that was a crash between Tomas Šybas and Juozas Kiršys. It was an incident between those two, and I think we might have a replay here. So, oh, that's the thing with Formula cars. Sometimes you touch, and sometimes you go off track. That was just a touch between the tires of those two drivers. And, well, little touch and big consequences. So that was Tomashibas and Yozas Kirshis, by the way, crashing out. They're down in 12th, 13th. We'll see if they can recover any time. But this is a big battle for second place. Quite a few drivers battling for second place. Justas Chokas versus Laurinas Vaitiekūnas for that position. And obviously third on the grid for the final. That's the battle that we're looking at. Right behind them is Davidas Laurinas hoping to be able to pounce on these two drivers ahead battling. We'll see how confident can Laurinas Vaitiekūnas be in trying to make that move. Somebody off the road, very much off the road. Big slide from Justas Chokas. This is a chance. Laurinas Vaitiekūnas goes to the outside. He's going to be on the less preferred line into the braking, but he goes wide and off into the gravel. Oh, that was a good attempt, but poor execution. Off the road goes Laurinas Vaitiekūnas. He's going to have to recover quite some time. And off the road, Justas Chokas as well. So that gives Davidas Laurinas a chance to go up into second place. Ignas Gelžinis up into fifth. No, up into fourth. Ignas Gelžinis up into fourth position. Staying out of trouble tonight. And, well, into fourth position. We'll see what Justas Chokas can do. And if he can recover some time. This is Laurinas Vaitiekūnas. So remember, he went off down into 7th place. That's going to cost him. It would be only 13th position for the final. So it's not a great... It's not a great look for him. Might be difficult. And looking at the replay here, this is car number 13, Yosef Kirshis, and goes right off the road. Spins off in the slippery part of the track and spins away. Oh, Laurinas Vaitiekūnas touch! And he spun someone off, and somebody tried to do something there as well. So he spun Tomas Antanas Regis off, and Giedrius Jukinavičius, well, he tried to avoid the collision and went off the road himself. Ignas Gelžinis purple, 43.9, so big improvement in the 71 machine. Obviously, real-world racing driver, so wet conditions working well for him because he's gone purple and 3/10 quicker than your current race leader. 43.9, about 4 seconds slower than what we had in qualifying. The track clearly getting wetter, but catching up to Justas Chokas, who had a 46.4 last lap. We're about to see a replay of that spin that we had from yep, we're about to see, here we go. This is the replay of the spin, and yep, just tried to avoid the incident and kind of I guess no harm, no foul, but tried to avoid the incident and nothing really came of it. Haroldas Jotautas fastest in Sector 2, but Davidas Laurinas improves on that, and Justas Chokas improves on that even more as well. So purple in Sector 2 right now, Justas Chokas, so maybe a bit of an improvement. Laurinas Vaitiekūnas 3 inside of the 727 of Tadas Liutkus for 6th position. Small technical issues. Here we go. Justas Chokas, 43.3, fastest car on track at the moment. Ignas Gelžinis there as well. He's in 4th position, 45.3, 44.2 by Davidas Laurinas, so he's being caught up heavily by Justas Chokas, who's on your screens right now in the 747, and off the road, wide again. Incredibly, he goes off the road. Yosef Kirshis, by the way, quickest, and that gives Ignas Gelžinis 3rd position. And Justas Chokas now under pressure from Dalius Dubinskas. Justas Chokas, incredibly, he's been quick, incredibly quick, but just losing out. Ignas Gelžinis up 12 positions. No, that can't be right. Can't be up 12 positions, can he? No, because he was 15th in qualifying. That's why he's up 12. He's 12 up from qualifying. Actually, he's 5 positions up. 4 for Grantas Kratskis and 3 for Tadas Lutkus. Grantas Kratskis having a nice race. Obviously from the back of the field, so maybe not perfect for him. But, was that Justas Stachokas going off the road? No, I think that was just a very big slide by him. Battle on your screens between Grantas Karatskas and Tadas Lutkus, the 2 beaver grease machines, the number 19 and the 727. Grantas Karatskas gained 3.3 seconds on lap 3 and 5.7 seconds on lap 2. Haroldas Jototas goes fastest and solidifies himself in the lead. 43.9 by Davidas Laurinonis, 43.5 by Ignas Gelžinis. Oh, somebody off the road. I wonder who that was. I think that was Tadas Lutkus off the road because, yeah, Grantas Karatskas up into 8th position. We have a replay on our screens right here. So this is Tadas Lutkus, and actually self-spin. Didn't need help from anyone. And I think that was a small touch on the barriers, but maybe got away with that. Haroldas Jototas still at the front of the field, leading heavily. He's 3.2 seconds up at the front of the field. He looked under pressure for maybe about 3 or 4 corners, but now he's in absolute lead and absolute domination there at the front. Down into that chicane section, he's been clinical tonight, taking pole position by about half a second and now leading Semifinal A commandingly. Tomas Chibas down into pit road. Not sure what happened there. Ligadas Sadabras up into 6th and Grantas Karatskas up into 7th because Laurinas Vaitakūnas lost positions, and I believe he had a spin somewhere out on track. Even the triple left-hander. And we're going to have a replay of that. So, little slide and goes right off the road and has to figure it out and shimmy his way out of that. Not great. Josas Kirši's 42.8 last time round. He goes quickest by a big margin. Was that Haroldas Jototas off the... He was off the road. Another driver off the road, and this is your race leader. So now, Davidas Laurinonis right behind him. Ignas Gelžinis right behind as well. And Ignas Gelžinis actually going quicker in Sector 1. Davidas Laurinonis gained half a second last lap, but now he's... Oh, Ignas Gelžinis up into 2nd. What happened there? Ignas Gelžinis up into 2nd position. Well, he's having one hell of a race. And because everyone else has been struggling. Oh, that's what happened. He had a snap, just the same as Laurinas Vaitakūnas, and off the road he went. Justas Stachokas up into 3rd position because of that, but Ignas Gelžinis up into 2nd. That puts him on the 2nd row of the grid for the final. So incredibly, huge gains here by Ignas Gelžinis. Justas Stachokas behind him, but no changes as of now. So Justas Stachokas, we saw him make some mistakes previously, but this is his battle with Davidas Laurinonis, who was off the road a few moments ago. These two drivers separated by just under now a 1/10 of a second. To the outside is Davidas Laurinonis. To the inside is Justas Stachokas. Laurinonis round the outside into turn 1. That turns to the inside for turn 2. Incredible move. And gets 3rd place off from Justas Stachokas, who started all the way up in 2nd. Laurinas Vaitakūnas, 42.4 to go quickest right now. 43.2 is the fastest lap. No, sorry, 42.4 is the fastest lap that Laurinas Vaitakūnas set. He just passed somebody, I believe, because I just saw somebody right off the road. And was that Grantas Karatskas who was off the road? Yes, it was, because Grantas drops to 8th, and Laurynas Viticunas goes right up into 7th. So lots of mistakes of drivers outbraking themselves into those difficult turns, especially turn 3 and the triple left. Well, Laurynas Viticunas said before the race that the triple left will cause issues. Well, it has. And I'm sure the drivers watching who are going to be in the Semifinal B, they're going to be watching this very, very carefully, seeing where the others are making the mistakes. Tadas Lutkus versus Juozas Kiršys. Juozas Kiršys held the fastest lap of the race up until now. He still holds the second fastest lap of the race, but that's the Beaver Grease car in 9th, Juozas Kiršys in 10th. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. The leader's crossing the line right now, so 2 laps remaining in Semifinal A. Oh, big slide. That was by Juozas Kiršys, but he's attacking heavily. You can see how little they see when in the slipstream because of that spray, and down to the inside of the final turn, touching the big puddle that is there on the inside of the corner, and gets in front and gets 9th place for Juozas Kiršys, overtaking Tadas Lutkus. Laurynas Viticunas, quick again, 42.6 by him. Ignas Gelžin is actually going faster than the current race leader with a 43.6 by him. Justas Techokas up into 3rd. So that battle continues on for 3rd position. This is Laurynas Viticunas on your screens, battling Raigardas Sidabras up in front. These 2 tenths separate these two. You can see many different lines taken by the drivers, trying to find where the grip is around this wet circuit. Down to turn 1. Cut. Big cut on the other curb. A little bit wide from Raigardas, I think, but no, maybe not, because Laurynas Viticunas gets a bit of understeer mid-turn, so maybe a bit more grip on that very outside portion of the track. On board with Laurynas, you can see practically nothing as you head into the turn. Just trusting the driver ahead has decided to brake at a reasonable point. And we're going to start the final lap of the race. White flag flies for Haraldas Jotutas up at the front of the field with just a minute to go in this race. But this is the closest battle that we've got on circuit right now. Laurynas Viticunas versus Raigardas Sidabras. Down into turn 1 they're going to come. Look at how much spray there is as they head down into turn 1 with the most speed that you collect around this circuit. Raigardas Sidabras taking a completely different line from Laurynas Viticunas, and it looks like Laurynas may be picking a better line through Sector 1. Giedrius Juknevičius, by the way, up into 11th position. Justas Techokas improving, but it's not going to be enough to catch Ignas Gelžinis unless he makes a mistake. But this is the battle that we're watching. Laurynas Viticunas and Raigardas Sidabras. Laurynas sitting right behind him. To the inside he comes, tries now the outside line as well, and to the outside because he can carry more speed, because there's more grip on the outside, still on the outside and off the road, and that's not enough. Once again, very difficult to pass around this circuit. Maybe the wet making it a little bit easier at some points, a little bit more difficult at other points, and I think, well, Laurynas Viticunas would have to have an incredible exit from this turn to have any more chances really at making a move. Because Haraldas Jotutas will be coming out of the final few turns. And we'll be able to see him take the win in Semi-Final A. He did make a mistake, but holds on to win with Ignas Gelžinis in 2nd position. An incredible gain by him. Laurynas Viticunas will not be able to overtake, and that will be that. That's the end of the story there. Ignas Gelžinis finishes in 2nd, 3rd for Justas Techokas, and this is Laurynas Viticunas coming to the line. Not enough. Not enough for him, and finishes down in 7th with the fastest lap of this race. Crashing out. But that is your Semi-Final A done and done. dusted right now. Obviously, all these drivers will still have to take the final. And here are the results on your screen. Haraldas Jodotas takes the win ahead of Ignas Geržinis. Justas Stačiokas in third position. Fourth for Davidas Laurinonis. Dalius Dubinskas takes the fifth position. Sixth for Regardas Sidabras. Seventh for Laurinas Vitukunas. Eighth for Grantas Kratskis. Josas Kiršys in ninth. And Tadas Lutkus in 10th spot. A little bit of a break until we head to race 2, well, Semifinal B, to figure out the outside lane for the final. Here we are back on to the grid. The drivers preparing for the second race of, well, for the first race for them. Semifinal 2 starts in a moment's time. The Porsche safety car at the front of the field. Nojo Sabas ahead of Edvinas Žadeikis on the front row, with Arturas Kudnelis in third. Fourth for Mantas Hermanas Olzuchovskis in fifth. Sixth for Airijus Jomantas. Seventh for Justinas Bumbulis. Eighth for Aivaras Beniušis. Ninth for Zigmantas Simančikas. 10th for Vilius Rusinas. 11th for Darius Tulauskas. And 12th for Martinas Margalauskas. Here we go. Running on to the track. The 12 drivers that will take the start of this race of Semifinal B here at Oschersleben. I'm sure they've learned from what happened to their colleagues in the other race, and they'll be watching very intently to see what happened and how to avoid those mistakes. Rain on track still predicted to stay. Quite a big gaggle of rain still hovering above the circuit. It's not too heavy, but still, it doesn't let the track dry out, and that kind of ensures that the drivers will still have to take these wet conditions on further. This being the first round for the iRacing series. I'm sure we'll hear soon on what happens with the ACC series coming up a little bit later on this year. For the first time ever at the FIA Motorsport Games, some call it the Olympics of motorsport, with everything from GT racing to rally to drift to rallycross to karting on the racetrack, and esports as well, with iRacing joining the roster for the first time this year. And the event moving to Valencia for this year. We've obviously had the races at Vallelunga. We've had the FIA Motorsport Games at Circuit Paul Ricard in 2022. And 2024, the hosts will be the beautiful circuit in Valencia, hoping for warm weather this October. And one of these drivers you'll see there on track. Well, one of these or one of the other ones who participated in Semifinal A. You'll see out there on track and representing their country, not a team You're representing your country, just like in the Olympics. As we get prepared for Semifinal B. And we're off. Green flag for everyone. Nojus Sabas and Edvinas Žadeikis side by side heading down into turn 1. Arturas Kundelis makes it free wide and free wide further back as well. For fourth spot, a few little touches, and Nojus Sabas loses the lead, and he might lose, and he's off. He's off the road, and he's spun round. The race leader, the pole sitter, he's spun right round, and race leader becomes Edvinas Žadeikis, who's having to battle Arturas Kundelis down into turn 3. Holds on for the time being, at least. The green flag out on the circuit, but Nojus Sabas dropping down into 12th position. Your pole sitter, second place in qualifying. Arturas Kundelis goes off as well, and he loses that spot to Mantas Armalas. No, Airius Jomantas actually up into second position in the Simsa car. Incredibly, so big recovery from him as well. So we saw those drivers, like I said, we had drivers that struggled, or at least looked to struggle in qualifying, who we expected to be at the front, but looks like they're doing a great job in the race. On board with Mantas Armalas in the 713 car, down into that chicane section for the first time this race. Edvinas Žadeikis is getting a big gap up in front. Armalas versus Kundelis for third place. So Kundelis started in third, went up into second because of the mistake of Nojus Sabas, and now now back down to third because he made a mistake himself. So the track clearly being wetter has caught some drivers out who expected the exact same conditions as we saw in qualifying. Down the front straight they go for the first time. More spray than what we saw in race 1, so clearly the track getting more and more slippery. Down the inside, Justinas Bumbulis against Mantas Armalas, and they touch off the road. Goes Justinas Bumbulis. Aggressive move down into turn 1. That didn't work. Down into 11th place goes Justinas Bumbulis. So another incident down there at turn 1. But Justinas Bumbulis, I believe, back out onto the circuit. Another move like we saw previously of drivers being touched, touching tires. Here we go. Touches tires. Car goes up into the air and off the road. And Justinas Bumbulis did manage to recover. Did do it quite safely. There's definitely not a safety car out on track. Oh! Arturas Kundelis off the road once again. Wow. So another mistake by these drivers being made because Arturas Kundelis off the road and now down into 5th position. Oh, incredible scenes out here. Incredible drama with Edvinas Žadeikis leading the field ahead of Airius Jomantas in 2nd place. Mantas Armalas in 3rd. 4th for Vidus Rusinas. Arturas Kundelis up into 5th. Well, down into 5th, but I mean, with the amount of mistakes he's made, he's actually had a... I don't want to call it a positive race, but it could be worse. That's all I would say. It could be worse. And I guess that's disappointing for a driver of his caliber as well. Mistake by someone further down the field, touching a bit of the puddles on the inside and off the road. I'm not sure who that is. That's the 12th car of Aivaras Benušis, and he continues to do quite a few spins and gets stuck on the grass. The new grass physics on iRacing enabling drivers getting stuck on the grass surface. So not a perfect day for him. Airius Jomantas continues to run in 2nd. Edvinas Žadeikis continues to lead the field. That gap at the front is not huge, and, well, I mean, it's only a few minutes into the race, a 15-minute race, but clearly seeing that drivers do have quite a few struggles here in the wet. Airius Jomantas now 1.9 seconds when they cross Sector 1. See what happens when they cross Sector 2. 1.4, so gap coming down at the front of the field. This is Arturas Kundelis versus Povilas Duchovskis, another one of the drivers that we said had a difficult race one. And actually, Povilas Duchovskis started from the pits. That is Tulauskas, I believe, off the road. A bit further back, Justinas Bumbulis up into 10th. Overtakes Martinas Pragaliauskas. And this is Arturas Kundelis versus Povilas Duchovskis. The fight continues on. This is for 5th place. We've seen these drivers battle many, many times previously. Down into turn 1 they come. Povilas Duchovskis on the inside, Arturas Kundelis on the outside. But we've seen the outside can be quite fast around 1 and 2. But actually, Povilas Duchovskis holding on to that outside line. And no, not yet, at least. And Arturas Kundelis defends the inside. Justinas Bumbulis goes and does a purple lap. Wow, Arturas Kundelis way more confident on the brakes into turn 3. Justinas Bumbulis very quick, so I think he's going to be beating himself up about that incident at the start. Airius Jomantas up into the lead. Arturas Kundelis goes off, but Airius Jomantas up into the lead of the race because Ednar Žadeikis was off. The race leader went off the road. How did that happen? Here's a replay. So, touching one of the puddles and goes off the road. He does and spins around, dropping to 5th place. Incredible, incredible scenes. And then we saw Arturas Kundelis go off the road as well. So, your new race leader, Airius Jomantas, who had a difficult qualifying session. Well, clearly not the race because he's all the way up in the lead at the moment. So, your race leader ahead of Mantas Armalas, who I said, well, he was very quick in the drive in the practice session last night. But, oh, this was a touch a bit further down the field. Was that Aivaras Beniušis and Martinas Pragaliauskas who crashed? Yep, confirmation. So Martinas Pragaliauskas got the push in the rear and went off the road. I just saw Laurinas Vaitiekūnas go off. No, that's Ednar Žadeikis identical livery, so that's why I said Laurinas Vaitiekūnas. But Ednar Žadeikis off the road once again, and this is Povilas Duchovskis off the road. Wow. Zigmantas Ivančikas goes up into 4th place now. Nojus Sabas, remember him? He was dead last after turn 1, after spinning around. He was on the front row. He's now up into 6th place. This is what happens in the wet. Oh, somebody off the road again. Who's that? That would be Nojus. No, that's Nojus Sabas. Yep, Nojus Sabas off the road again. Down into 8th spot. So as soon as we said that he's doing a good job, well, back down to earth we come. So this is on board with Povilas Duchovskis. He lost that position to Zigmantas Ivančikas a few corners ago, but down the inside he comes. That's going to be relatively easy. Yep, a bit more confidence by Povilas Duchovskis. Zigmantas Ivančikas started much further down the field, so yeah, really impressive that he's gone up this high. And, well, again, Povilas Duchovskis overtaking him wasn't that huge of a surprise, but actually Zigmantas Ivančikas 43.8 last time round, so going quite quick. Airius Jomantas set a 43.6. Mantas Armalas set a 45.0, so maybe a mistake for Mantas somewhere as well. Vilius Rusinas in 3rd spot in the number 11 machine up there. This is, by the way, a reminder, this is Semifinal B that you're seeing on your screens at the moment. It doesn't look like we have that much rainfall. Well, maybe we still do, and that was just me looking at the screen wrong. Battle on your screens, the 72 and the 92. That's the battle for 7th place. Most positions gained. Vilius Rusinas, 7. Airius Jomantas, 5. Zigmantas Ivančikas, 4. Wow. Oh, 2 drivers off the road. That was Pavlas Duchovskis. Pavlas Duchovskis and, well, who could that be? I think he did it all on his own. Here we go. Replay of what happened to Pavlas Duchovskis. Goes off, touches the curb off the road, and then what happens then? Completely independently, Zigmantas Vančikas spins as well. Edvinas Žadeikis, 4th place now. This is Nojus Sabas versus Arturas Kundelis. For, this is 5th position. I'm trying to get my bearings straight, because this was a battle for 7th about 8 corners ago. Now it's a battle for 5th, because everybody else has spun right off the field. Pavlas Duchovskis right behind this battle in 7th place. Justinas Bumbulis up into 9th. Nojus Sabas. So, Nojus Sabas spun off at turn 1 from the lead. Went down to last position. Went up to 6th. Went off the road again. And now is back up to 6th again. Pavlas Duchovskis in 7th on your screens. Airis Jomantas still leading the race, by the way, ahead of Mantas Armos. And to the inside, Pavlas Duchovskis, a lot of confidence on the regular dry line, confidence that he'll have the grip, and now he's on the outside. Let's see if he can get that braking done. No, locks up, off the road. How many times we've said it tonight? Locks up, off the road, and loses positions. And Justinas Bumbulis actually overtakes him into 8th. And Justinas Bumbulis battling for 7th against Zigmantas Vančikas. Justinas Bumbulis has the fastest lap of the race at the moment as well. So cars going off the track left, right, and center. A lot of action. I'm excited for the final now. I have no idea what's going to happen there. But here we go. This is Justinas Bumbulis on your screens right now. Battle against Zigmantas Vančikas on your screens. And that's Arturas Kundelis up in 6th, up ahead. Nojus Sabas is up into 5th spot. Might be able to battle Edvinas Žadeikis there, actually. I would say Airis Jomantas is confident at the front, but we've seen cars go off from many different positions on track. He's actually being fought by Mantas Armos heavily, so I think running a very conservative strategy at the moment. So onto the front straight, 2 to go for your race. Well, for everyone in the race. To the inside goes Justinas Bumbulis, and up into 7th spot most likely, if no more contact. Nope. And gets it done well. Those identical liveried cars, by the way, they're not part of a same team. It's more the privateers out on track that have the exact same livery provided by OBS. Justinas Bumbulis, huge slide coming out of turn 3. And he's got Pavlas Duchovskis right up behind him. So for 6th, 7th, and 8th, Arturas Kundelis, Justinas Bumbulis, and Pavlas Duchovskis, who have all been in the top. So as soon as somebody does something good, they have to do it again and spin off and do something wrong. So things change incredibly quickly here. This is Nojus Sabas and Edvinas Žadeikis. They've caught up to Vilius Rusinas in 3rd spot. The battles continue. Wow, this race has thrown up a lot of challenges. White flag in the air right now. And Airis Jomantas continues to lead the race. 2.7 seconds up in front. Comfortable? No. But he's looked strong tonight, and that's the most important part. This is your battle for 3rd. Edvinas Žadeikis, recovery drive of the century. I would call it. Well, maybe not of the century, but recovery drive. Strong one. Nojus Sabas is recovery drive of the century, definitely, because he's gone from 1st to dead last, to 6th, to off the road, to 5th now, and a chance at the podium here right at the end. Everything kicking off. Oh, off the road. Vilius Rusinas off the road. And, well, as soon as I look down on my timing screen, Edvin Ažadeik is up into 3rd position, and Nojus Sabas up into 4th now, and that's the final remnants of that battle here for the final spot on the podium. So Nojus Sabas up into 4th. Again, disappointing as he was on pole. But Airius Jomantas is going to take the final 2 turns out on track, and into the final corner he comes. Incredible drive to gain so many spots. Airius Jomantas wins Semifinal B and will start on the front row of the grid for the final. Ahead of Mantas Armalas, ahead of Edvin Ažadeik is, yep, because Nojus Sabas cannot make that move stick. So ahead of Mantas Armalas, ahead of Edvin Ažadeik is ahead of Nojus Sabas, ahead of Povilas Duchovskis, yep, that's correct. Then Vilius Rusinas, Arturas Kundelis, Zigmantas Vančikas, Justinas Bumbulis in 9th, and for Darius Tulauskas, Aivaras Benišis in 11th, 12th for Martinas Pargalauskas. So that is your finishing order in Semi-Final B. We'll have a short break as the drivers go on to a warm-up session before the grand final tonight. But let's have a quick look at the race results for Semi-Final 2. Airius Jomantas takes the win ahead of Mantas Armalas, ahead of Edvin Ažadeik, ahead of Nojus Sabas, then Povilas Duchovskis, Vilius Rusinas, Arturas Kundelis, Zigmantas Vančikas, Justinas Bumbulis, Darius Tulauskas, and Aivaras Benišis and Martinas Pargalauskas round out the field. Semi-Final B is over. Don't go anywhere, as in 10 minutes' time, we'll have the grand final of tonight.
Web3 enthusiast. Come inside and let me show you around. It all started with Dmitry, a die-hard car enthusiast who gathered a community around his love for cars. His vision went far beyond collecting cars. He dreamt of a space where anyone, anywhere in the world could tap in to their passion and love for cars. This is where the OBS World takes shape, a fully immersive experience created by petrolheads for petrolheads. It's a place where the lines between the physical and the digital world blur. Meet our mascot, embodying the adrenaline, excitement, and precision that is the OBS World, a constant symbol of the fusion between human spirit and technological innovation. The OBS World is all about the community, about bringing car enthusiasts together, sharing experiences, and creating a digital automotive ecosystem like no other. The heart of the OBS World app is built to connect and inspire petrolheads. It's a place where you can keep up with the latest car news, join virtual and real events, and share your passion with others just like you from around the globe. The app lets you customize your garage, showcasing your personal NFT car collection. And then there's our NFT marketplace, a treasure trove of unique digital collectibles and experiences. Cars, garage spaces, and even tickets to exclusive events. All of these become pieces of the automotive world you can own and interact with in exciting new ways. We're not just bringing the thrill of driving to your fingertips, we're building bridges between the virtual and the real. With OBS World, we're giving every car enthusiast a chance to be a part of the global car culture. It's not just about driving or owning cars, it's about the passion, the community, the thrill of being part of something bigger than yourself. Every feature, every detail of the OBS World is designed with one goal in mind: to fuel your passion for cars, to bring car enthusiasts together, to create a global, immersive, and dynamic car culture. And this is just the beginning. We're constantly innovating and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the real and the virtual world. We believe that everyone should experience the automotive world, regardless of where they are. So join us. Be a part of this revolution and help shape the future of car culture. Because at OBS World, we're not just an app. We're building a community, a lifestyle, a movement. Welcome to OBS World.
Cars for me is mentor, style of your discipline, of your life of goals. I believe and I know car can charge your batteries when you need it, because you have some special connection with your car, because car has story, and this story it's not just it's part of your story. This is we are petrol heads. OBS World is not just about cars, it's more about community, dreams, passion, networking in petrolhead life. Nürburgring event is example for our future users who will join us and create his history on new page of culture. This is possibility they can find in OBS World.
Right before last year's OBS World Endurance Cup, sponsored by OpTibet, we announced that the winners will receive a ticket to go to real track day and experience something which not many people do. The most difficult thing going from sim to real is obviously the feeling of the car. You start to feel the weight, and also there's no reset button. They've all adapted incredibly throughout the day and started setting really good lap times with the cars. I think they really maximized it and have impressed many people around the paddock.
Young people now starts with sim racing, and if they like it, of course I'm sure they will say, one time I have to drive at Nürburgring Nordschleife. They want to feel it in nature.
Very, very lovely, very expensive car, so I was a little bit cautious, just starting to get up to speed, get confidence in the car, especially on the braking. The braking was quite a big difference. You get a lot of G-force in the real car, so just being able to just get up to speed with that was important at first, but I think by the end of the first session I was starting to feel confident, and then when I went into the second session, you know, it was flat out, and the instructor was fantastic. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I still think there's more time in it. The racer inside me wants to go faster, but yeah, massively enjoyed the experience, and I'm very grateful to OBS.
Welcome back to Motorsport Arena Oschersleben, and welcome back to what is now the warm-up session out on track. Grantas Kratskas currently at the top of the field in the in the warm-up session right before the final. Warm-up session giving the drivers a bit of a chance to get back into the rhythm, especially the ones that did Semifinal 1. We are seeing a bit maybe less rain arriving in just a few moments' time to the track, so maybe some changes in coming for the drivers. Somebody goes right off the road there. All 25 will be on track for the final. We'll see Haroldas Jotutas with Airis Jomantas on the front row of the field. Grantas Kratskas at the moment at the top of the warm-up session. This is just for the drivers to have a chance to get back into the rhythm, maybe try out some different racing lines, and maybe try to figure out where they made those mistakes previously and how to avoid them once they get into the final. Half an hour we'll have for the final of this race. It will be tight. It will be interesting. This is the road to the FIA Motorsport Games 2024 and the selection for the Lithuanian driver who will represent the country in the iRacing competition. Justas Stachokas actually goes quickest by 0.6 of a second right now, so track improving. As I said, maybe there's a bit less rain incoming for the final and maybe a chance for the drivers to find different lines. If the track dries out a bit more, well, maybe. I don't think we'll see slicks tonight, but we'll definitely see some different lines coming up. As the warm-up session finishes and we head into the first final of the season, double the points compared to what they get in the semifinals. So the drivers will have a very big incentive to go fast and win. We're still seeing the rain staying around the track, but maybe a bit drier than what it was in the race sessions previously. iRacing says that the track is moderately wet. And it is Haroldas Jotutas in pole position ahead of Airis Jomantas, Ignas Giržinis, Mantas Armalas, Justas Stachokas, Edvinas Žareikis, Davidas Lurmanis in 7th, 8th for Nojus Sabas, 9th for Darius Dubinskas Briedis, 10th for Povilas Duchovskis, 11th for Regardas Stabras, 12th for Vilius Rusinas, 13th for Laurinas Vaitekūnas, 14th for Artūras Kunedis Grantas Kratskas, and 15th, 16th for Zigmantas Ivančikas, Jotas Kiršys, and 17th. 18th for Justinas Bumbulis, 19th for Tadas Lutkus, 20th for Darius Tulauskas, Giedrius Juknevičius in 21st, Aivaras Beniušis in 22nd, 23rd for Domas Antanas Režys, Martynas Pragaliauskas 24th, and 25th for Tomas Čybas. As the Porsche pace car gets underway, it is the formation lap for the final here tonight. You can see a bit more dry here on the left-hand side of the starting grid. Obviously buildings around that could help in terms of drying. Maybe not as dry as it looked on the straight there. Maybe a bit more wet down here into turn 1, but clearly looking like a few less puddles than what we saw in the B semi-final. I would say even the A semi-final as well. Definitely less problems out on track. If you want to have a look at the live timing, you can head on over to grip.com. That's grip with 3 eyes. And you can check out the live timing. Friends at Grip providing the live timing for this and many other OBS Run series. You can find that in the YouTube chat. It's now pinned in the YouTube chat, so you'll be able to follow the live timing there. We'll see how it goes. This will be one hell of a race. Maybe a bit more rain coming down now. Seeing those droplets of rain around the circuit, so it's definitely not going to dry up tonight. It might get a little less greasy. It might get a little more greasy as the race goes on. It's obviously half an hour, so it's not like the shortest race in the world. It's also not the longest race in the world, so expect to see the weather changing around as the race goes on. Remember, it was 50 points it was 25 points for the win in race 1. It's going to be 50 points for the win in the final. So semifinals give you half of what the final gives you. So much more incentive for these drivers to fight for the positions, but also a chance to gain points in semifinals, where even if you make a mistake in the final, you can still grab a good load of points. But for the first round, for the first time on the road to the FIA Motorsport Games here on iRacing, we're going to go green for the first final here at Oschersleben. We're off! Airius Jomontas and Haraldas Jototas down into turn 1. Ignas Gilginis and Mantas Armos right behind them. Everybody side by side. That's, I think, 5 wide. Everywhere further down the field as they go into turn 1. Airius Jomontas right behind. Haraldas Jototas getting as close as he can. A bit of touching further back, but I think it's one of the more clean getaways we saw tonight. And down into turn 3, they're all gonna come. Airius Jomontas still super close to the inside. He goes because Haraldas Jototas goes to the outside. Oh, bit of a lockup, almost a touch, but still staying there, still staying right behind Haraldas Jototas, putting a lot of pressure, I would say, on the Lithuanian driver, but they're all Lithuanian drivers. To participate here, you need to have a Lithuanian passport. Here, down into the braking zone of after the triple left. And now they're going to come into the chicane. Everybody's still super close. You can see from this almost heli shot, I'd call it, following the drivers around the track, off the road. Mantas Armalas off the road. That was incredible scenes from further down to nowhere. To last, he's going to go. Ignas Geršinis in 5th place. Paulius Dukovskis has jumped up to 4th. Justas Stačiokas in 6th. But Haraldas Jototas maybe extending that lead at the front of the field a bit more. We saw him make mistakes in Semifinal A. He's going to hope to not repeat that. Grantas Kratskas up into 12th. We might have a replay of something here. So this is Mantas Armalas. Yes, what happened to him? He's going to go touch a bit of the puddle and off the road. I think he's lucky to not hit the wall there, but stays out and, well, continues to run, but unfortunately very much far down the field. First lap completed. Airius Jomontas trying to now fend off Nojus Sabas, who's up into 3rd. So he's recovered a good amount of time. Paulius Dukovskis in 4th. Ignas Geršinis in 5th. 6th for Justas Stačiokas. Tomas Čibas dropped to 16th. Edvinas Žadeikis out. And Justinas Bumbulis down onto pit road as well. I wonder what happened to these two. Maybe incidents earlier on, so unfortunate for them. Haraldas Jototas holding on with about half a second gap, but Nojus Sabas putting a lot of pressure on Airius Jomontas, who was faultless in Semifinal B. It's actually the front two staying stable compared to where they started. Ignas Geršinis has dropped off that front pack just a little bit. And he's got a hard-charging Justas Stačiokas behind him, Arturas Kundelis behind him as well. Then it's Regilas Stabras, Davidas Laurinonis, and Darius Dubinskas Briedis as well in 10th position. Grantas Karatskas, he's 11th at the moment. Mantas Armalas up into 21st. Grantas Karatskas in 11th, 12th for Laurinas Vaitiekūnas. Airius Jomontas continues to try and fend off Nojus Sabas. This is the biggest battle we have on track right now. This is for 2nd place on track. Actually, Povilas Duchovskis is probably closer to Nojo Sabas than what Nojo Sabas is to Airijus Jomantas, as Haroldas Jototas actually sets the quickest lap of the race. Nojo Sabas very late on the anchors down into turn 1. And actually, information that Edna Žadikis had a computer crash, and that's why he's out. So not an incident out on track, but actually a technical problem that he had. We're ready for another replay. What happened here? So, who are we looking? Martinas Pragalauskas, and off the road and more contact. Unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate for these drivers who are having to fix their cars. Justinas Bumbulis back out on the circuit. And I think Martinas Pragalauskas is down onto pit road right now. So Airijus Jomantas actually now getting closer to Haroldas Jototas. Was I right? Yes, I got confused there for a second. But yeah, so the battle continues on for first place, and it kind of ebbs and flows as they get through the sectors. I think the track is changing, and that's why we're seeing some drivers go quicker, some drivers go slower, and the gaps kind of change. Nojo Sabas right off into the kitty litter there on the second to last turn. And he's going to be under attack by Povilas Duchovskis once again for third place. Right there in the background, and right behind them is actually Justas Stachokas, who's gone quickest and has set the fastest lap of the race. To the inside, Povilas Duchovskis, no, that was just trying to scare them away. Nojo Sabas, where's it? Vilus Rusinas in the replay here. Let's have a quick look. And, ooh, big sliding right off the road. But what happened to Nojo Sabas? I wasn't looking at the screen, maybe, because he's gone from third down to 10th, and we saw him fine into turn 1. And I think let's have a look. Here's the replay. Down into turn 1 went Nojo Sabas. Oh, too fast. I said he was super confident on the brakes. Well, that's the result. Sometimes you can be overly confident on the brakes, and that's how you lose positions here. Oh, somebody off the road again. Not sure who that was. Ignas Gilshinis. Yep, Ignas Gilshinis. He's dropped down to 10th place, so he was a bit off the road there, and he's lost positions after a faultless drive in Semifinal A that saw him finish second there. Justinas Bumbulis down in 22nd with the fastest lap of the race. We go 23 minutes to go. The lead continues to stay quite stable. And Airijus Jomantas still in second position. Povilas Duchovskis in third. Haroldas Jototas leads the pack. Oh, there's a car spun round, and he's stuck. Stuck on the curb, the very slippery curb. That is... that's Justas Stachokas. So from the front of the field, he's stuck and has to rejoin, and just about does it. Oh, that looked incredibly difficult for him, and I'm sure it was difficult to be in that car when you can't move, you can't get out, and yeah, big struggle for Justas Stachokas, who drops down the field. but into the braking zone here. This is on board with Paulius Duchovskis. We saw him have a strong run from the back of the field in the semi-final. Now he's coming back up the field in the final. So going very fast, and I would say a threat to the drivers up in front. And now trying to attack Airis Jomantas. He's going to be right behind him, and now going to the outside. Let's see if he can make a move here. And to the inside he tries, but we saw him lock up a few times previously, so maybe a bit more careful this time round. But I think he does look just a little bit quicker than what Airis Jomantas is, so he might just be able to overtake, or at least it looks like more of a matter of time before he does. But obviously we've seen drivers make so many mistakes tonight that the races have turned on their heads very, very quickly. Early upshift for Paulius Duchovskis just to be able to put the power down. Now, through the chicane, you need a lot of confidence because it's so slippery there. But you have to take the curbs. There's no other choice. And out of that chicane they come, and the gap stays relatively stable, I'd call it. Still coming through are the drivers, and this gives a chance for Haroldas Jotutas to make a bit of a bigger gap. Arturas Kundelis up 10 spots. Paulius Duchovskis up 7. Aivaras Benicius up 7. 6 for Laurinas Vaitekūnas. 6 for Zigmantas Vančikas. So Paulius Duchovskis having a fantastic run here tonight in the final. So finally getting those conditions, finally understanding the conditions, I'd call it. And now trying to overtake Airis Jomantas, but clearly it's easier said than done. 19 minutes to go in this final. Double the length of the semi-final, but that's why it's also double the points. Martinas Pargalauskas and Giedrius Juknevičius both in the pit lane repairing. That was that incident that we saw previously. Here we go. There's a replay of very many cars and touching and banging doors. And spin, but it keeps it out of the wall and stays. Well, I wouldn't call it it wasn't no harm, no foul, but at least no harm for anybody else and no harm for the car. Battle for 6th place. Laurinas Vaitekūnas and Nojus Sabas. Nojus Sabas was running in 3rd and then spun off. Dropped to 10th, and now is trying to recover. Ignas Gilšinis has dropped to... actually, where has he dropped down to? I don't see him on the top 10. He's down in 12th. He's down in 12th position, but a strong semi-final result will mean he gets a good haul of points. Or next... or the championship standings. Airis Jomantas starting to catch back up to the race leader and setting quicker times, at least for the time being. Oops. Off the road, somebody, I think that was David Slorenon, is having some incident. Let's have a look. Nojus Sabas on your screens. He is up into 6. Mantas Kratskis up into 8. Leskelishin is up into 11th spot. I think we have a replay of one of those incidents. This is Arturas Kundelis, and who's that running right behind him? That was David Slodoranis. Yes, it was. And he spun off, and that kind of made issues for everybody else behind him who had to avoid the spinning car. Oh, and actually, Airis Samantas has been overtaken by Pavlos Duchovskis, so we'll see how well he can catch up to Haraldas Jototas now at the front of the field. Here we go. Just a few laps to go. Not a few laps to go, 16 minutes to go. So the length of the semi-final to go. And we'll see how those front two battle it out. Dalius Dubinkas jumps up into 9th. Grantas Karatskis in 8th position. So holding on, let's say, to now what is a decent result. Noyus Sabas down into pit lane. I wonder if that could be because he has reached the incident limit or maybe some damage. So Ignas Gilshin is up into 10th. Mantas Haramos into 11th now. This is your battle for first. Pavlos Duchovskis really catching up, so very, very confident at the moment at the front of that field. We'll see how that kind of changes as the race goes on, and immediately Airis Samantas has dropped off massively from the back of Pavlos Duchovskis, so clearly doesn't have that much pace, or at least not enough pace to hold on to the lead. Still, at the moment, in a very comfortable spot here, because Arturas Pindalis is so far behind that, well, he'd need a miracle drive here to catch up in the next 15 minutes, or for Airis to make a mistake. And that's one thing Airis has not done so far, is make a mistake in the past few race in the semi-final and in the final so far. He's not really made mistakes. Maybe he wasn't the quickest on the road, but he's not made mistakes, and that has helped him be in the front of the field here. So important positions for him. This is how much the gains have been. 2/10 on lap 8, 3/10, almost 4 on lap 9. So clearly, Pavlos Duchovskis extremely comfortable and confident at the moment at the front of that field. Everybody obviously on wet tires. It looks like the track may be getting a little bit more slippery as the sky has gotten a bit darker compared to what we started the race on. Through the chicane, they come 1, 2, 3. Haraldas Jototas, Pavlos Duchovskis, and Airis Jomantas. Noyos Sabas still down into pit lane, so disappointing for him very much so, as he was having a good race up until that point. This is Justas Tachokas in 14th. We saw him off the road previously and having to recover that car, but now has brought himself up into 14th spot. He was stuck on the curb on the exit of turn 3. Now in 14th place, trying to catch up to Juozas Kiršys up in front of him. Then it's Davidas Laurinonis, who was spun at turn 1. Then Mantas Armalas, and then Ignas Gilšinis, who's the guardian of the top 10 at the moment. 25 seconds off the lead already. But still highly up at the front of the field. So only the top 3 have really escaped. To the inside comes Justas Tachokas, and doesn't happen so far. Ignas Gilshin is getting past Sigmantas Ivančikas up in front there for P9. Here's that battle, still side by side. They go to the braking zone. Into turn 1, Ignas Gilshinis takes 9th place and continues his recovery drive, actually. He started up in 4th, dropped down, but has now gone back up into 9th spot. 7th place for Grantas Karatskis, who's also having a good recovery drive tonight. That battle for the lead has stopped pretty much. The gap has stabilized, and Haraldas Jototas has been quicker in the past few laps. This is Mantas Armalas, who's trying to battle for 10th spot. Coming down into the braking zone here. And continues to push on through the chicane. They're gonna come. Jumping nicely over those curbs, and the battles stay on. So this is Armalas, Lodinonis, and Stachokas, and Kirshis as well, 13th. Number 14, that's Davidas Lodinonis, who's actually getting closer to replay of, I believe this is Laurinas Vaitakunas? Yep, he's the one that spun off and made a mistake, so he was much further up, and he was actually close to Arturas Kundelis to make a move maybe there, but has dropped off 4th place, but still stays in 5th even after that spin. That's how much of a gap they've created up there at the front. Bolas Duchovsky is now only 3/10 behind, but this is your battle for... Oh, and goes off the road. That was Ivanchika's going right off the road. But actually, Bolas Duchovskis has now gotten very close to the back of Haraldas Jototas. Somebody off the road, but that was a lapped car, I'm sure of it, because Arius's car is very orange. So it's easier to see who's actually off the road. This is Haraldas Jototas versus Bolas Duchovskis. We've said that before in OBS run events, and well, this is Grantas Karatskas and Rigardas Sidabras battling for 6th place. Riding on board with the Ferrari Esports driver, Grantas Karatskas. Ace in ACC. And now fighting for the iRacing spot in the road to the FIA Motorsport Games 2024. To the inside, he's going to come. I don't think Rigardas will put up too much of a fight here. Actually, he does and stays around the outside. It looked like he didn't put up too much of a fight down the straight, but actually doing a great job. And the battle continues still side by side. Now, it's going to be Grantas on the outside, Rigardas on the inside, and going to make the switchback move into the final turn. Braking zone into the final turn. And I think finally he's maybe on the preferred line and gets the move stick. And right behind them is Darius Dubinskas Briedis, who might want a piece of that cake as well. Back to your battle for P1. As Grantas Karatskas, by the way, that was his move for 6th position. And up into 6th. Maybe trying to catch Laurinas Vaitakunas, but I think it will be extremely difficult. But battle for the lead. Haraldas Jototas and Bolas Duchovskis. So lap 10, Bolas Duchovskis lost a half of a second. Now he's gained 3/10 and then gained a 10th. So he's gained back everything that he's lost previously. And you can see Bolas Duchovskis is much more aggressive with the car, a lot more sliding. Haraldas Jototas a lot more smooth and calm here at the front. I don't know how calm he is, but at least the driving style is extremely calm. And different driving styles prevail in different conditions. Here in the wet, you sometimes have to be aggressive, sometimes have to be smooth, and I guess both work as we see the gap goes up and goes down, depending on which part of the track the drivers are at any given time. Battle continues, different lines, and the rain lights at the back of these cars flashing hard, indicating to the drivers behind where they are. A lot more spray down onto the front straight, so clearly it looks like the track is getting a bit more wet here. More puddles developing around the track as well. So this is Duchovskis and Jototas going into battle together. Now, it's Duchovskis down to the inside. Very late on the brakes, and actually Haraldas Jototas leaves him some space. And exiting the turn, they're still side by side. Let's see who is the bravest. Who's the last of the late breakers into the triple left? Haraldas Jototas stays in front for the moment. A little bit of a slide, but looks like he might have just been able to hold on to that position for the time being. does hold on to the position for the time being, but that is intense racing for the lead. 6.5 minutes to go here at the road to the FIA Motorsport Games, brought to you by OBS here on the iRacing platform. Remember, the winner of the championship, not just this race, there's 3 rounds in the championship, will head to Zandvoort next, and then Aragon to finish off the season, running every 2 weeks. The winner of the championship gets the chance to represent Lithuania in the FIA Motorsport Games at Valencia later on this year in October. Most positions gained: Laurynas Vaitiekūnas, Artūras Kundelis, Grantas Karetskas, all have gained 9, 8 for Paulius Duchovskis, and 7 for Tomas Čibas. By the way, Laurynas Vaitiekūnas into 4th, with Artūras Kundelis dropping to 5th, and he's actually being caught by Grantas Karetskas, so chance for Grantas to make it into the top 5. So now Haroldas Jototas has actually extended that gap at the front. And that gap being 5 tenths extended last lap. Gap is now 7 tenths. We'll see if Paulius Duchovskis can start to maybe find that, get that gap back down. I'm not sure he can. Well, at least looking at the lap right now, he's losing even more time. So difficult run for him now. I think maybe just 1.7 that gap. So maybe made a mistake into the braking zone. I think now Haroldas Jototas can be a little bit more relaxed. Who cannot be relaxed is Dalius Dubinskas Briedis, because he's got Ignas Geležinis. No, he's actually attacking here. Oh, yeah, he is. He's got, off the road, big spin for, who was that spinning around? Definitely not Grantas Karetskas. He's got the 5 of Rigardas Sidabras in front of him, and he's got Ignas Geležinis behind him, the 71. Difficult to say when all of them look completely identical. Gap at the front has increased to 2 seconds. So Paulius Duchovskis tried that one move and has dropped back down very, very far. This is Justas Techokas, and makes a move on Mantas Aramos because somebody spun off in front and has to avoid. That was Ignas Geležinis who went off the road. He's now dropped down to 11th spot, and he was running a strong race up in 9th, now back down to 11th. That was that spray? I think it was. Yeah, that's just spray lingering. I thought somebody was off the road. 3 wide up in front there for 6th place, I think. That's for, yep, that is for 6th, because Grantas Karetskas has been caught. I think he's made a mistake, and now it's side by side between Rigardas Sidabras and Dalius Dubinskas Briedis for 7th position. Dalius Dubinskas Briedis actually getting in front. Now Rigardas Sidabras getting back in front. They're still side by side. They're going to come side by side. They touch off the road, both of them. Actually, not completely off the road for Dalius Dubinskas Briedis, who continues, let's say, kind of safely. He's going to now be under attack by Justas Techokas right behind him in 8th. And Ignas Geležinis is back up into the top 10 with cars crashing around behind them. Justinas Bumbulis up into 16th spot, so he was dead last for a short amount of time, but now up into 16th position. Mantas Armalas, remember, he was running 3rd, crashed on lap 1. But is now up into... where's he gone up to? He's up into 9th, so he was last as well. Well, at the very back of the field, now up to 9th position, so strong recovery drive from him as well. This is the number 5 machine on your screens, but now back to Justas Techokas in 8th. 34 seconds down on the Haroldas Jototas. They were teammates, by the way, in the OBS Endurance Cup that ran earlier on this year. Both part of the over-the-limit Racing stable. And now with Absolute Motorsport is Haraldas Jotutas and running at the front of the field, 1.8 seconds ahead of Paulius Duchovskis. This is Justas Stachokas versus Dalius Dubinskas Briedis for 7th spot. Justas Stachokas is well on a recovery drive after we saw him stuck on a curb on lap, well, not sure which lap, but on turn 3, right here on the exit. He was stuck in one of those puddles. 1 minute to go, so I don't believe this is the final lap. I think they'll have, yeah, they'll have one more. Somebody right off the road. Grantas Karatskas right off the road. And he's dropping down into 9th, into 10th, 11th, 12th, and probably more, as he's actually quite far away in that gravel trap. Haraldas Jotutas will begin his final lap of the race. We've got some kind of a replay. Oh, this is Grantas Karatskas. Yep, so again, touches the puddle there on the inside, wiggle, and off. Actually not that far as I expected, but getting stuck in the gravel trap. Did he actually get out of that gravel trap? Watching the replay, yes, he did get out of the gravel trap, but was in there for a very long time. Justas Stachokas on your screen still. Trying to battle for 7th spot. This is Haraldas Jotutas back on. We'll see what he can, if he can hold on. Actually, Paulius Duchovskis has gained back a little bit of time. Gap now down to 1.1 seconds. Airius Jomantas hasn't been able to catch back up to these two, but he's been stable, and, well, he's gonna, well, if nothing happens, he's gonna finish in 3rd and have a fantastic result with a win in the semifinal and a 3rd place finish in the final. Now going on to the split screen view, you can see Justas Stachokas battling for 6th position against Dalius Dubinskas Briedis, because that was Grantas Karatskas. When he went off, he gave away that spot, but on the top of your screen, you can see Haraldas Jotutas, who's going to come through and get the perfect weekend done. Led every lap, started on pole, won Semifinal A, and won the final. Haraldas Jotutas wins ahead of Paulius Duchovskis. Airius Jomantas and Laurinas Vaitiekūnas will come through in 4th position if nothing happens. But this, at the bottom of your screen, still that battle for 7th spot. We'll stay on it until the final turn, because I think there's still fireworks to be had. Dalius Dubinskas Briedis goes to defend to the inside. Justas Stachokas goes to the outside to try and make that place up. Maybe on the outside it will be a drag race to the line. Who's going to be better to the line? I think Dalius Dubinskas Briedis by just no, actually, who actually got that place? Oh wow, 5:21 and 5:56. So 300ths of a second, but Justas Stachokas doesn't get that spot. But on your screens, take a bow. Haraldas Jotutas runs the perfect weekend. And, wow, can't take anything away from him. He's been unbeatable tonight. Paulius Duchovskis tried. He tried to get something done there. And he was side by side for a moment, but Haraldas Jotutas didn't give up, and, well, that's the result here tonight, because he gets the win and takes the win in the final. Let's have a look at the results. After 18 laps, Haraldas Jotutas takes the win ahead of Paulius Duchovskis, Airius Jomantas, Laurinas Vaitiekūnas, Artūras Krinelis in 5th, Dalius Dubinskas Briedis in 6th, 7th for Justas Stachokas, Mantas Armalas in 8th, Ignas Gelžinis finishes in 9th after being in and out of the top 10 for the whole of the final. Juozas Kiršys rounds out the top 10. Rigardas Stavras in 11th, 12th for Davidas Laužinonis, Zigmantas Ivančikas in 13th, Grantas Karatskas spun off on the penultimate lap with 3 laps to go and finishes 14th. 15th for Tadas Lutkus, 16th for the recovering Justinas Bumbulis, 17th for Aivaras Beniušis, Darius Tulauskas in 18th, Tomas Čybas 19th, Tomas Antanas Režys in 20th, and the final, the end of the field being Nojus Sabas, Martynas Pargaliauskas, Vilius Rusinas, Giedrius Juknevičius, and Edvinas Šadeikis, who had that computer issue. Nojus Sabas, I think, had to take some damage repair. But what a race it was, and what a result for Haraldas Jototas, who takes his lap, a very well-deserved lap of glory around the track here at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben. Next time out, in 2 weeks' time, we'll see you at the Circuit Park Zandvoort for, sorry, now it's called the CM.com Circuit Zandvoort for Race 2, the Race of Netherlands. And in 4 weeks' time, we'll see you at Motorland Aragon, where we'll see the final of this incredible championship. What a few races it has been so far, and I'm sure this excitement will continue all throughout the season. I hope you've enjoyed the races tonight. Join us in 2 weeks' time at Zandvoort for more of the same. The road to the FIA Motorsport Games 2024 has begun. Haraldas Jototas will take the lead of the championship, and everybody else will be the chasers. This is expected to be one hell of a season, and I don't think you want to miss this. All of this and more live on the OBS World Esports channel here on YouTube. I hope you have a great night, and see you in 2 weeks' time at Zandvoort.